I'm Alex Mattison and I'm teacher of English and Media, and I teach National 5 and higher in Scotland, and today I'm going to be helping you with your creative writing folio, and this is part 1. So welcome to my lesson on theme. So just quick context to what we're doing. I'm teaching, as I said, National 5 and higher, so for our National 5 we need 2 pieces, higher 2, and National 5 is 800 to 1000 and higher is 1000 to 1300 words. So we've got a long way to go before we actually get to that stage of drafting, and with the current restrictions this is an excellent time because you've got time for the first time in many years. Probably you've got more time than anyone else to really plan and make an excellent job of this piece because the standard is very high. Theme. What is theme? Well, every story has a theme. A theme is really your central concern, so it's different from the plot. The plot is really what happens, but the theme is the real message behind it. So anything that you've ever seen, any story that you've ever seen on the television, in cinema, or any poem or drama or anything that you studied will always have an important theme running through it. So theme's really a good point to start because you want your story to have substance. We're looking at creative writing, and there's lots and lots of things that will go into creative writing, and I'm going to talk about them in subsequent lessons. But theme is a really good starting point because if you can think what you really want your story to be about, then the rest of it is really going to come together quite nicely. But to illustrate this, I want to very quickly read something to you. Can you find it? Oh, here it is, on the floor. Okay. I'm not going to read you this whole story, we haven't got time, but if anybody does want this, then please do contact me. My social media contact details will be on the link below this. I'm quite happy to send it to you. It's an excellent, I love Ian Crichton-Smith, and this is one of the short stories that we study as part of the Scottish set text. And I love it, and I've just picked it at random because all of his stories have a theme, and this one is The Red Door by Ian Crichton-Smith. And I want to just read you the opening of this, and then we can see how the theme is introduced at the beginning, and I'll probably read you a bit from the end as well because it will be at the end. What you'll find is that it's subtly hinted at all the way through. The Red Door. When Murdo woke up after Halloween and went into the cold air to see whether anything was stirring in the world around him, he discovered his door, which had formerly been painted green, was now painted red. He stared at it for a long time, scratching his head slowly, as if at first he didn't believe that it was his own door. In fact, he went into the house again and had a look at his frugally prepared breakfast, porridge, scones and tea, and even studied the damp patch on the wall before he convinced himself that it was his own house. Okay, so it's a great opening. And this story is really about not fitting in, feeling different and being in the wrong place at the wrong time in life. And the idea of the red door is symbolic because the door is painted red and he doesn't recognise it because he doesn't recognise his place in this community. So it's absolutely brilliant. You've got this idea of the door being completely different and he doesn't even recognise his own home, and he has to take a minute and think, yeah, it is mine. It doesn't belong there, but it does belong to him. I just want to have a look at the end because I do know, in fact, that it's summed up quite well. So at the end, I'm not going to tell you what happens in the story. However, things have changed. Like every good story, the situation for the character has changed. So at the end we've got his Wellingtons creaked among the sparkling frost. Its virginal new diamonds glittered round him, millions of them. So it's a sense of renewal and looking at life in a different way and looking at his situation in a completely different way. Before he knocked on her door, he looked at his own door from a distance. It shone bravely against the frost and the drab patches without frost or snow. There was a pride and spirit about it. It had emerged out of the old and the habitual, brightly and vulnerably. It said, "Please, let me live my own life." So it's summed up beautifully there, this idea that he moves on to a new life. Okay. So why the theme again is so important. The SQA guidelines, marking guidelines, want you to have to make sure that your attention to purpose is consistent. Now, your purpose will be to entertain a marker. However, your purpose is also to get across a theme and explore a particular theme. That's what I want your purpose to be. So I want you to think very carefully about what the theme is, and then we can look at how we're going to explore it. How can we look at theme? How can we think about different themes? Well, there's a couple of things I want you to do here. I've just written some notes. Let's have a look. So yeah, how can we decide on a theme? I want you to look at films or books that you've really enjoyed, and I want you to try and work out not just the story, but any underlying themes, any central concerns amongst them. So for example, Titanic really isn't about the ship hitting an iceberg and sinking. It's about two people coming together from different classes. There's a class division. There's rich versus poor, from first class to Jack, the third class passenger. So it's not really about the story itself of the ship of the Titanic, but it's about that real human aspect, and that's what you want to get across. So think very carefully and make sure that you're differentiating not what the story is, but actually what is the underlying theme. So you could also think about, is there anything that's affected you in your own life? We're under really unusual conditions, and it's had an effect on everybody's life. So this could be a really good time to think about what is important to you. Look at the news. What human condition affects people? This is about the human condition. This is about characters and people, real life. So think about the really important things that matter in life and try and come up with a list of them. And what I would do is maybe pick 3 that appeal to you, and I would actually just play with them, play with the ideas, maybe just do a spider diagram around each of them and see if you can come up with different ideas. How would you explore that theme? What would be an interesting way to explore that theme? You might be lucky, you might hit the jackpot straight away and come up with a great idea and start expanding on that, which would be lovely. But if you come up with 3 of them and start thinking about them, if anything else pops up, pop it into your journal. Everybody should have a journal. Pop it in, put some ideas, and it's always about how you would explore that theme. So in the idea of the red door was that it was significant. He didn't recognise his house and he left, and life was very different after that. Okay, just to recap then. So your creative writing, there are many different elements, and I'm going to talk about them in each of the subsequent lessons. Theme, which is central, is a great place to start. So watch for following videos on how to shape that theme. We're going to look at the treatment of it, and we're going to be quite subtle about how we treat the theme, which is going to give you your really good story eventually. So just finally, if you found this useful, please do pop into the next one. I also offer one-to-one tutoring, and if you use the code STARSTUDENT, then I'm quite happy to give you a 20% discount off any kind of one-to-one tuition where we can maybe talk. It is worth mentioning that the SQA guidelines on how much we can help you with your folio writing are really strict, but there's plenty that I can help you with. So yeah, until the next time, take care.